Andrew Malcolm here from Mortgage HQ, and today we're covering one of the most important topics when it comes to property investing. It's a question I get a lot: is should I buy a new build property or should I look to buy an existing property? And the answer to that question is, of course, it depends. And it's going to depend on a lot of circumstances, a lot of pros and cons for your own specific situation. So what I suggest you do is draw up a pro and con list. So what I've done is I've drawn up a pro and con list for new build properties, so you can quickly go over them. So for a new build property, the pros, you might be looking at a 10-year guarantee from the builder, sometimes lower deposit required, location. What you'll often find is some of the better suburbs. A lot of property developers are taking existing property, they demolish it, they might put 10 properties there, and they're doing those in the best locations. You're going to get modern, new appliances, new facade, new design. A lot of the properties that are being built as new homes will meet the healthy home standards, not always, and you got to check that with a property manager. And it's easy to buy. Now, I'm seeing a lot of first home buyers and property investors, they're finding it quite hard to win properties at auction or through negotiation. They're finding it very easy to buy new build properties, just getting them under contract and waiting. So what are the cons with new builds? Very often you're going to get a much smaller land. So a property developer will take 1,000 square meters and they might put 10 properties. You're going to get, instead of 1,000 square meters, you get 100 square meters. So the use of land is going to be much better, but your actual footprint is going to be a lot smaller. And it's quite often that even though the lower deposit, these properties are going to be fully priced. The discount, so to speak, on actual value is not going to be there. So you're probably going to be paying full market price. You're obviously going to be very close to other properties, so they might have issues with noise, or you might not get the sun hitting you from all directions like you'd hope. Parking usually is a little bit limited. A lot of these new build properties are going to have only one garage or one car park, and you're going to be sharing a driveway. The bedrooms and main rooms are going to be a lot smaller. The likelihood of capital gains for new build properties is going to be probably less, because capital gains is usually on land, not on just the property size. And you can be waiting a long time to get what you want. So let's compare that pro and con list with existing properties. So if you're looking at an existing property, you do the same thing again, pros and cons. You're probably going to get bigger land, you're going to have potentially higher capital gains as long as the area is right. My favorite is the development and dwellings potential. So if you're buying an existing home and you're getting a good land size, in the future you can look to add other properties or dwellings, and maybe even potentially clearing the site and building some new terrace or other properties. The sales history is going to be there. You're going to be able to download a property file and get a good idea of who has owned the property, who has done what to it, and about the property values. And it's available now, so that the auctions, negotiations, usually with people that are wanting to move on, so within a couple of months you can move in. Now, cons, you might need a lot of work. So obviously if you're buying $1 million property, you're going to be looking at something that might need 30, 50, even 100 grand or more of renovations. So I've put that in the con, but I would say that actually, if you're willing to do the work, that could be a pro as well, because you could actually spend 50 grand on renovations and get 100 grand in extra value because of that. Location and budget, if your budget is a bit restricted, you might be able to buy a new build in a better location. But if you want to buy an existing home, you might have to go further out from where you actually really want to be. Obviously, you're going to have older styles, you're going to have more maintenance on older properties, and it can be quite hard to buy at auction or through negotiation, because there's just so much competition. And I feel like you've got to make decisions, the pros and cons for your own circumstances, and you've got to weigh up whether you want something immediately, the decision off your plate, and you keep missing out on auctions. You might think, okay, I've had enough, new build, that's for me. And you've got to assess, okay, cash flow, if it's a rental side of things, you've got to do your spreadsheet and analyze the cash flow and the capital gains. But you also got to assess based on the own lifestyle you want for yourself. And Now, I would say step one, start with borrowing power calculations, which we're happy to do for you. And then step two, once you know what your total budget is and how quickly you can make that decision, then you start doing your pros and cons. And maybe you still, after do the pros and cons of existing versus new build, you can't decide. Have a look in the market. Start talking to some agents. Start having a look at some of the developments that are on the market now or coming onto the market soon, and maybe some property will jump out at you. Pros and cons, really simple way to do it. Just remember cash flow, capital gains, and if you're a DIY kind of person or you're willing to add value and you want more of a quicker equity growth, got to think about the capital improvement through renovations. If you're more of a lazy investor and you just want an easy solution, new build's the way to go. If you're willing to do a little bit of sweat equity, or you don't really care about the modern amenities, you rather have a bigger section like me, I got a big dog, I got to have the backyard, then maybe the existing property is for you. So in the comments, feel free to ask questions about new build or existing properties. And before the end of the year in 2020, the best question fired in the comments or to me by email, andrew@mortgagehq.mhq.co.nz. I'm happy to put $200 into your conveyancing fees on your next purchase. Don't forget to subscribe and check out some of the other videos, especially Blandon's videos on mortgages.